Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, October 14th. And gonna just go over the markets really quickly. Everything seems to be going up pre-market, especially the SPY. And this is still no change for me. When I look at the fibs, this is still going to be support regardless of whatever happens. Like I said, with the election coming up, it can get volatile, but I do expect this 561.48 to hold regardless. So things can keep melting up until it gets to the 640s. But just a reminder, things can and most often do retest levels before going higher. So that is always going to be a possibility between now and the election. But this chart, either way, is still very, very bullish. So let me just go to, before I take your request, I'll just go over QQQ and IWM. And yeah, so QQQ is also going up pre-market, and the resistance point for QQQ is going to be 504.16 up there, and I think it has that potential to get there. If it ever can flip that to a support, then things will get a lot more bullish for the tech, but it is lagging behind the SPY just a little bit, so just need to pay attention to that 504.16 level, see if it can break on weekly candle closes. And IWM here, how's that looking? It's going up a little bit pre-market, but the good news of the day of the week last week was it closed above the 702 again, above 219.80. So that's going to be the target to really hold above and get on top of that for more weeks in a row. Then I guess it's going to be automatic for 226, the 230s as well. This is looking great. So it's just a big consolidation range around there after getting rejected by the 786. So that's going to be the eventual target to break 226.75. That's going to be my target to see if it can close, because there's never been a weekly candle close since the downtrend back in 2021. So that is really, really, really going to be important to close above. And once there is a weekly candle close above it, then I think a lot of things, including crypto, are going to go much, much higher. So 226.75 is going to be that target for the weeks to come. Yeah. Okay. So I want to do Tesla first, because I know that's on a lot of people's minds. And that is what is going to be the target to close the week above right there, 221.26. So that is the 382. That is the target. I did a very long video for Tesla on Friday. You guys can always check that out. And what I'm looking at is really just staying above this cloud. And this week, the cloud does sit around 219.28. So just I want to see continuous weekly candle closes above that, and then best case getting back above the 382. And if it stays above the cloud, then there's not going to be a reason to go down to these lower levels in the 207s or the 206, 205s. But that is some super strong support down there. There's three things down there: the 50-week, the 100-week, the baseline, lots of things. And the moving averages are sloping up for the first time together since the market top. So this is not a bearish situation regardless, right? Even if it did go lower, because Tesla likes to be crazy sometimes, it doesn't matter, because this chart is still very bullish. And the goal is stay above the cloud, right? 219, let's just call it 219 for the rest of the week. But yes, it can wick below during the week, but just stay above it on weekly candle closes. Best case, stay above 221.26, and then it should recover and go higher and higher. And yeah, I see some early requests. Let me get to those really quick. So in phase, yeah, in phase 101.30 pre-market. I actually have a linear or a log scale chart I like better right now, just because it's following it pretty nicely. Stay above 100 and it's good to go, right? That is in phase's goal. Stay above 100 and it's fine. And so far it did close the week above that 100, so it's fine. And it did wick below, but so far it's just looking like it's building a base on top of this. If it were ever to close more weekly candles kind of like this below, then I'd be a little bit more worried. But as long as it stays on top, it's just considered building a base to go higher. So just a waiting game at this point, and just got to watch that $100 mark for end phase. And tree, Linden tree. Yeah, Linden tree looks pretty good on continuation, right? I see a potential to get up to the 87, really. Yeah, I see that potential right there. Once it broke above the cloud, that was some bullish continuation right there. But this chart is looking pretty, yeah, pretty, you got sold off quite a bit. So, yeah, I mean, I think as long as this zone holds, and we'll say like in the 50s, maybe 52 right there, as long as that maintains, it's got a good shot of going to 87, the 200-week moving average above, but that could be some resistance once it gets there. So, yeah, I think bullish continuation could be most likely. And DocuSign, similar situation there. It's kind of breaking out, right? And once it got above the cloud and back tested everything successfully, it started to go higher. So I think what's likely here is also continuation to the upside. There is some challenges right here with these candles and over here trying to break above. But I think once it gets above maybe these candles up here, like the 75, 76 zone, then I think it's got a good shot to getting to the 100s above. So it's just one step at a time. Right now it's at 69. If it can get above maybe 76, 77, then I think it's got a good shot for a 100. Lemonade. Let me switch to log scale here. Yeah, Lemonade's at resistance, so I'm not too much of a fan of it yet, but if it ever can get to where it was before on top of the cloud and actually hold it as support, not see some bearish engulfing candle like we saw right there, then it's got a shot to go higher. But until then, it's just kind of stuck in a range. But slowly but surely, it keeps on maintaining a base. So it's not impossible, but I'd like to see weekly candles get above maybe 1760. 1760 is going to be the target to really start closing above to go higher, and then start closing above this baseline up here at 1929. Then I think it can go much higher after that. Yeah, so Lemonade. Wait, I already did that one. Yeah. NVAX. Yeah, NVAX. Novavax. So Novavax is, yeah, it broke above the cloud. It retested the 100. That's a great sign for possible continuation. But the only thing holding it back right now is that baseline at 1383. So that's going to be the target to close weeks above. If it can do that, then I think it can go higher because it's spent a long time consolidating already. So let's see 1383 get broken as a resistance, and then if that can happen, I can see price go higher towards this previous wick up here, which was around 2386, and then after that, it could go much, much higher. So one step at a time, 1383 is the target to close above. All right, let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Triumvirate. Tesla with a little gap up. Yeah, it sure was. When Tesla 300? Well, after it breaks 270. Let's see. HEMS, yeah. So what's HEMS at right now? It's pre-market 2029. It's looking really good. Right, it's looking like it wants to open the week on top of my arc up here, which I've been talking about for a while. So that's going to be the target to close above. And then I want to see it build a base on top of this arc for the weeks to come. And what that means next is, yes, the 22, 23s, 24s, and even the 25s above. So that'll be the next targets up to 25. And then after that, I would love to see that 25 get flipped to the support and go up to the 30s and 40s above. So HIMS, I've been really bullish on it, especially since it closed the week back above that baseline on Friday. And that is a perfect setup for what you see this gap up this morning for a continuation, right? Close above resistance, then you see a gap up, and that's perfect, right? And that's exactly what we saw. So that volatility last week was a super big opportunity, especially backtesting that bottom arc. That was it, down in the 17s, maybe even down almost to the low 17s. That was definitely the opportunity to go higher. And sure enough, there it is. So Bitcoin, what do I see? My thoughts? Well, my thoughts on Bitcoin. My thoughts on Bitcoin are, I shared on X last night. Not only is it above my GAN level right there, but it's also above that 1.618 level from the 2017 high, right? You can just take off that GAN right there and you can see it. You can see it clearly, a previous resistance right here for Bitcoin flipping to a support, right? You don't even need anything else except for these fib extensions because they're so perfect, right? It just went up straight to the 1618, straight down to the 886. And then every level on the way up and the way down was some kind of resistance and support. And that is proof that these fibs are super accurate, and therefore 61,327 has been holding on top more than it has been holding below. So what that really means is Bitcoin is, it's like building a base on top of a new resistance level. That's what it's doing. And it's going to go much, much higher once everything gets confirmed. And I think it already is getting confirmed in the process, but we just need to start to see more higher highs. And then once we start seeing more higher highs, then it's going to be launch mode activated for Bitcoin. So this is good. As long as 61,327 holds, it's going to continue higher and higher. Let's see here. I'm not sure if I can get through all of these, but I'll try. Let's see, LLY. So Lily is approaching resistance. After that blue level has been super important for many, many, many years in the past. It just took off, and then the green level never really got back tested. So that's going to always be a possibility in the back of my mind. But I just see it getting towards a resistance here. I see the arcs above, maybe in the thousands, right? Maybe 1,000, maybe a little bit below. But it's got to break above that for me to get confirmation it wants to go higher. So get above 1,000 on weekly candle closes, then I think it's okay. Otherwise, there's always, in my mind, going to be a possibility to come way back down here. So not too sure, but things do like to back test levels all the time. And this one has never been back tested. So that's going to be in the back of my mind unless it can break 1,000. So it's getting closer and closer to resistance. MicroStrategy, yeah, MicroStrategy continues higher. It's gonna go to 245 next, right after this breakout. It's kind of was confirmation because it made a new high, right? It's kind of confirmation it wanted to continue higher, and sure enough, I think 245 is going to be the next target. Then after that, 300, then maybe 340. So the stock looks super good, especially after holding that one level for many, many months. Just a couple months, actually. No, these are a lot. At 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, like 7 months it held that level basically for a long time, and now it's finally shooting up. So this is looking better and better for continuation, and I do expect 245 sooner than later. And I'll do a couple more here. WULF, Terra WULF. Yeah, so pre-market's above 435. It held my arc perfectly, and it's really looking good for continuation too. And not only that, it's looking like the conversion line, not that, sorry. Yeah, the conversion line's at 451 right there, and the market just opened. So it's still stuck in between support and resistance, and 421 now is your support, and 451 is your resistance. So I can see price going up to that resistance level, but it's got to get on top of that conversion line in order to get to this orange level above. So that's going to be the next step. Close a weekly candle above 451 in order to go higher. And let's see. Yeah, well, I'll do one last one. I can't do them all, guys. I got to do other stuff right now. But I will be available on Patreon for chart requests all the time, so you guys can always join there. But SOFI, yeah, it gapped up above my 45-degree angle, above this black line, this previous resistance here. And now I'm going to consider that 45 kind of the support, right? So it can wick below it and maybe close that gap possibly. So, but I'm going to consider like 930, that support level for SOFI right now. And it is approaching major resistance above, which is 1019, and the arc there too around 1006. So this zone in the low 10s is looking pretty challenging to break, but that's going to be the target after all. So let's see if this 45 can hold throughout the week, build a base to continue higher, and then if that happens, I think things can go much, much higher. All right, so there's the request. It is market open. Let's do a summary. Yeah, things are good. IWM is kind of flat. QQQ is up a little bit. SPY up a little bit. Yeah, ARC is doing okay. Palantir still doing fine, right? It's still going towards the all-time highs. People taking profits are still regretting it, I think. But the possibility to go retest this is still there, around $40, but not sure if the market makers will let people back in. We'll see. And yeah, Meta is doing well. Microsoft, NVIDIA still going strong. Yeah, NVIDIA looks like it wants to go towards 140 again. Looks really, really strong. Tesla is doing okay. Yeah, all the miners, they held their support perfectly last week, especially like CLSK held it perfectly. So we'll just keep an eye on all those levels, guys. And I wish I can get through them all, but I got to do other things for Patreon right now. So have a wonderful Monday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.